This segment is brought to you by Machinery Link. This year, rent your combine, own your future. We guarantee on-time delivery. Call today.
Hi, I'm Jim Shroyer, Extension Wheat Specialist at Kansas State University.
And I'm Erick DeWolf, Extension Plant Pathologist for Kansas State University.
And we've been putting on lots of miles here the last 6 weeks, and we're winding down on our wheat tours, wheat variety demonstration tours at all the counties across the state. And we've seen some really bad wheat, we've seen some okay wheat, and now we're in the northwest corner of the state. And I tell you what, a month ago I probably wouldn't have given you two nickels for a lot of this wheat up in this part of the state. I think the rain that started basically May 22nd, I believe that's the first big rain they've had in a long time. That really turned things around, and a lot of people thought that it was too late to respond to it, but we've had a good month, almost a month now, of good growing conditions, fairly good moisture, and the wheat, as you can see here, that I wouldn't have given 5 to 15 bushel for. I think some of this wheat we're looking at 35 to 40 bushel, maybe even pushing 50 in some locations. But with the moisture, are we seeing diseases?
No, it continues to be a really low disease year. I think it's largely too late for any diseases to make an appearance or be a serious threat to the wheat here, even in northwest Kansas. You know, Jim, as I was just kind of reflecting on some of what the growers have been telling us too, is that one of the keys for what the success relative success of some of the wheat here in northwest Kansas was just fall establishment as well.
Oh, right. Go ahead.
So it's part of what the growers were saying is that that fall establishment for wheat here in western Kansas and really everywhere is really important as well, and they had that throughout the state, but it was really what made the difference between kind of a below average wheat and maybe the average or above average here was some timely rains here to finish the crop as well.
Well, okay, yeah, you got basically 2 time periods. We actually had good moisture in August in this neck of the woods, northwest corner of the state, and early September, and that was what you said is the wheat got established. And as opposed to say in the south central part of the state or the central part of the state, they were dry from the get-go. So, but really no moisture, a little bit of snow over the winter, and just kind of a tenth or two here and there through the season. But when May came, the 22nd of May, we've had some pretty good moisture in this area. We're not very far from the Colorado border, and actually over in Colorado they got a little bit more rain than what we have right here at this particular location. But it's rained 3 or 4 inches here, and over 20 miles to the east they've had 4 or 5 inches. So that's a world of difference how the wheat has responded. Some of the later varieties I think are responding a little bit better than some of the earlier varieties, because the early varieties are just too late and not able to respond to some of this late season moisture.
Right.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back, and we'll be talking about some other issues such as hail damage up in northwest Kansas.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
Well-designed container flower gardens bring beauty to your home, at your entry, on your patio, or placed in a special spot in your landscape. Let Jackson's help you select the correct plant combinations which will add the color and style you need and that will survive the summer to provide beauty till frost.
Save 50% now at Jackson's annual bedding plant clearance sale. Veggies and pottery 25% off too. Come on out and save now.
This segment is brought to you by Machinery Link. This year, rent your combine, own your future. We guarantee on-time delivery. Call today.
Hi, I'm Jim Shroyer, Extension Wheat Specialist at Kansas State University.
And I'm Erick DeWolf, Extension Plant Pathologist for Kansas State University. So unfortunately, some of what's come along with some of the recent rains has been some hail. Are there particular areas of this part of the state that maybe we've seen a little more hail?
Right, that great silver combine that's come a little too early. Yeah, there's up in the Goodland, north of Goodland, up into Cheyenne County and up into Nebraska. The storm came through there just a few days ago, this past weekend as a matter of fact, that really damaged some wheat. Anywhere from, I would say, 30 to 75% hail loss in some of these fields. And again, they have been sweating bullets all season long. Not the wheat's dying, turning brown, and just hanging on. And now they're thinking, 35, 40 bushel, and hail coming through and doing some serious damage.
Right. The other thing that I've seen too is just there's a lot of areas that were maybe low areas intermixed with areas like we often see in drought, and those low areas were a little more drought stressed. With these recent rains, we've seen some green heads coming in there, kind of making a kind of an uneven maturity throughout the field.
Late tillers coming on.
Yeah, late tillers. What do you think the prospect is for some of those late tillers or areas that look green that were really stressed early?
Well, I think what you're going to have is small shriveled kernels that may or may not germinate. More than likely they'll germinate, but just because I'm a pessimist and thinking they'll germinate and cause volunteer wheat.
Yeah.
And then with volunteer wheat, like we'll see in hailed areas, volunteer wheat, and then we have
wheat streak mosaic often follows on its heels. So those hail events that knock a lot of grain to the ground really can create volunteer wheat problems, like Jim is saying. And often what follows on its heels would be wheat streak mosaic, where the curl mite becomes established in those volunteers, and then the virus usually shortly afterwards. That serves as the green bridge then to move to next year's crop when we're planting in the fall, unless that volunteer wheat is controlled during the summer months.
So we'll need some moisture after harvest to get that volunteer up and growing, and then try to control it so we don't have that green bridge through the late summer into the fall.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I've been pleasantly surprised with some of the wheat we've seen in northwest Kansas. Like I said, all season long, all year long, I've been worried about this part of the state, and this is kind of a garden spot of the western Kansas compared to, say, west central and southwest part of the state. So I've been pleasantly surprised, but it kind of shows you the year when we get really excited about 35 and 40 bushel wheat instead of talking 50, 60, and 70 bushel wheat.
That's right.
So it's a world, it's light years away than we've had in recent past up in this area.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more.
This is a public notice. After 62 years as the best Western store in the state of Kansas, Roy Fry Western Lifestyles is calling it quits. And that means the entire $1.5 million inventory must be liquidated. And we've lowered prices again. Let's talk Boots, Lucchese, Boulay, Corral, Tony Lama, Justin, Ariat, Nakona, Durango, Farini, and more. Right now, we will beat any price you can find anywhere, even online. Dwayne and his crew are on the floor, making incredible deals for you. Everything must be sold. All ladies' clothing, 50 to 70% off. American West purses and luggage, half price. All jewelry, belts, and home decor, half off. After 62 years, Roy Fry Western wants to say thank you for such great support over the years. We couldn't have done it without you. The Roy Fry Western Lifestyles Retirement Sale. On now. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, 9 to 5 Saturdays, and Sunday, noon to 4 p.m. Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, 121 Northeast Highway 24, Topeka. Don't miss this sale.
This is the fast track to more jobs, and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers and the Kansas Wheat Commission. Together, we are Kansas Wheat.
Hi, I'm Jim Shroyer, Extension Wheat Specialist at Kansas State University.
And I'm Jeanne Falk Jones. I'm the Sunflower District Agronomist.
So you've got 3 counties.
I do. We have Wallace, Sherman, and Cheyenne counties, so we border Colorado and Nebraska.
Okay, there you go. So, you know, we're standing in the Wallace County, one of the Wallace County plots, and they look pretty good for this year, especially compared to last year, which you planted here, and we didn't have a plot tour here. We didn't have any wheat to show.
That's exactly right. Last year we had the wheatless wheat plot tour.
I remember that. I was here. I remember. So, you know, these are great because we can see how they grow, and the farmers can hear us talk about them, but they also can see how they grow through the season, and then what the yields are at the end. So,
Great.
So how do you pick a plot area, and how do you get them in the ground?
Okay, so really the first thing starts with finding the right wheat plot cooperator, and I've been very blessed in Sunflower District that we have a long history of producers who have been doing wheat plot tours. We've had producers who have been way over 30 years doing plots, and then we have some new ones that we've just added in the last few years, but really it's a producer who has a genuine interest in looking at different varieties that we have out in the plots. So we find them first, and sometimes they find us.
Right. So they come and say, I want a plot on. Yeah. You don't have very many. I don't think you have very many of those, because it takes a little effort to do this, because you know we're not planting 80 acres or a quarter. We're only planting a quarter of an acre, if that. So you have to have the right equipment.
That's exactly right. And so a lot of my producers actually have a drill that maybe is specifically designated for doing wheat plots. Otherwise, you know, they have a smaller drill that they use for other things, and we end up using it for wheat plots. Otherwise, we borrow some equipment to put in plots, and so every plot size seems to differ just a little bit because of what is available to us and in the situation that we're in. So we have an operation. So we have everything from conventional to minimum tillage to completely no-till type systems, and so it gives the producers a good chance to look across very different production systems, but to really see what's carrying on out in the field.
So these plots are just put in the farmer, whatever the farmer does, general practices, then you just come in and plant, or they have their own equipment like you just mentioned.
Right.
But you do have a little bit of equipment that you run around a little bit as well. So,
yes. Yes.
Okay. So what do you think the farmers benefit other than, I'm talking about neighbors, as opposed to the person that actually puts it out? So let's talk a little bit about that benefit.
Well, I think when we're let's go back to selecting varieties, because that's one of the more important things that we have going on in wheat plots, is that we talk to our cooperators and ask them what kind of varieties they would like to see. We sit down with our PDC, the Program Development Committee, which I call my think group, and I ask them what varieties they're wanting to see. A lot of times we look at performance tests, see what else is carrying on. We want to make sure we're looking at some of the new stuff that's coming out, and
compare it to the older stuff.
That's exact, to the more traditional varieties that we're used to seeing. And so we kind of have a mix of everything in here, and that's one of the goals in Sunflower District, is that these are be very teachable plots. And so we don't do just a few varieties, we do a pretty good selection of what we're looking at, a lot of different parentage. We look at public varieties, private varieties, everything that's out there in the field. And so really, you know, the good thing is that we put signs on sometimes in the fall, sometimes early spring, so that every producer who drives by can see what we have.
How it's done through the whole season.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it is amazing how they grow through the year, and how some of them, you know, perk up when it warms up, and others just kind of stay dormant for a little while longer. But these are great. You have about 15 in this plot, and I know the Sherman County plot, I lost count at about 35 last night. So, but that's great. We get to see a lot of different things. Jeanne, thank you for your time, for talking about putting in a plot. I know your cooperators love to have you help put those plots out, and they really are really helpful.
Thank you.